What is up, all you rocking rangers? Today I'm going to show you how to make a character for the classic role-playing game Dungeons and Dragons. We'll be using the 5th edition and the 2014 rulebooks because I haven't gotten a chance to get my hands on the new ones. However, as soon as I do, I will make another video displaying the differences and similarities between 2024 and 2014. Alright, in Dungeons and Dragons, every character has a race. This is the fantasy species you were born into. We've got all the classics. We've got dwarves, elves, humans, gnomes, dragonborn, halfling, half-orc, half-elf, and tieflings. Let me break all those down real quick so we can decide which one we're going to use for our character. Dwarves are the short and stout kin of the mountain. Sturdy in both combat and drinking contests, dwarves are master craftsmen who are intensely loyal to their clans. Elves are the timeless and graceful lords of the forest. Often belonging to hidden woodland refuges, elves are learned both in the art of nature and in the art of the scholar. Small and practical, halflings are the wardens of hearth and home with a overwhelming sense of curiosity that pushes them out through their doors. Known as being braver than most when it comes down to it and being infinitely lucky, halflings are quick and nimble. Humans are the multi-tool of the fantasy world, as ambitious and diverse as they come. Known as the protectors of civilization, humans are infinitely adaptable to any circumstance. Dragonborn are the proud and self-sufficient descendants of dragons, aligned with the different powers of their draconic ancestors. Dragonborn are proud and ferocious clans. Gnomes are the clever and crafty tinkerers of burrows beneath the earth. They are known for being bright and excitable, as well as being the stewards of strange inventions and woodland creatures. Half-elves mix the diversity of humans with the wisdom of the elves. Known for being excellent diplomats, half-elves have one foot in both worlds, spanning the gap between nature and civilization. Half-orcs are the weathered and strong warriors of the Outlands. Seldom accepted into society, they live the gray area between ruthlessness and order. And finally, we have the refugee tieflings. Tieflings are the powerful but mistrusted heir to an infernal bloodline. Each of these races has their own skills, abilities, and strengths, and it's a lot of fun to explore all of them. This is probably the second biggest mechanical choice that you're going to have to do for your character. For us, I decided to pick a tiefling because I love the idea of a redemption arc. Let's see if there are any cool names. Akmenos? That's pretty good. I think I'm going to go with Akmenos. And then we're going to write down the different features over here to the side. So it looks like we get a bump to intelligence and a bump to charisma. Resistance to fire damage. Oh, we do. We get thaumaturgy. Dark vision out to 60 feet. That's always good. And then we also get... No, that's it. All right, the next decision we have to make, and probably the biggest decision you'll make when creating your character, is choosing our class. Your class is like your adventuring occupation, and all your advancements, abilities, and power raises are all going to come from this class as you level up. There are 12 basic classes laid out in this book. Let me give you a brief description of each. First off, we have the Barbarian, who is an absolute unit of a tank. Designed for taking and dealing big hits, Barbarians rush onto the battlefield in a ferocious rage. The Bard is an inspirational performer who weaves spells into their performance. A true jack of all trades, a Bard is the perfect multi-tool for your party. A cleric is the divine champion of the gods, those of good and those of evil. Clerics are the ultimate support character with both some good buff spells and some game-changing control spells. To contrast that, druids are champions of nature. Being able to change their form to suit their needs, druids can make the very ground around them become an ally for the party. The fighter is the perfect warrior, making more attacks than any other class in the game. Suited for any battlefield, fighters are truly the kings of combat. Monks are the masters of martial arts in pursuit of both mental and bodily perfection. They can run up walls, dart through the battlefield, and are a flurry of fists when crossed, but a bastion of wisdom when consulted. Paladins are paragons of the divine, bound by sacred oaths that give them radiant abilities. They can be either the knight in shining armor or even the vigilante striking from the shadows, taking out their enemies. Rangers are the masters of the wilderness. Mixing natural magic and martial prowess, they are exceptional explorers in any terrain. The rogue is the shadow that you don't see coming until it's too late. Masters of infiltration and stealth, rogues are both the deadly assassin and the scoundrel of the city streets. Sorcerers are the inherently magical spellcasters whose magic comes from the very blood pumping through their veins. Channeling surges of magical potential, sorcerers are powerful either at the city gates or in the heat of combat. Warlocks are powerful spellcasters whose magic originates from a deal or arrangement they have made with a powerful magical entity. Being able to battle for days at a time, warlocks are an interesting twist on the traditional magic of the realms. Wizards are master scholars whose studies have given them the practical knowledge of arcane abilities. These spellcasters are incredibly versatile and are champions of knowledge. Each of these classes gives you special abilities to set your character apart and give them more power. They start at level 1 and make their way up to level 20. You can progress through this by gaining experience or achieving important milestones for your character. For this character, Akmenos, we are going to be looking through, and I think I want to make him a fighter. They are super awesome characters, and I really want him to turn out kind of like Aurum from Critical Role, this master of battlefield combat. First level fighters, here we go. So we're going to get a D10 hit dice, which is always nice, but at first level we get 10 hit points plus our Constitution modifier. We don't know our Constitution modifier yet, that's coming up next. Proficiencies. Proficiencies is basically what we're skilled in using. Proficiency in all armor and all weapons. That's good. Strength and Constitution saving throws. Let's go acrobatics. You know what? Why don't we do perception? Perception's always good. But now we get to see our first level features. What do we get at first level? We get fighting style and also second wind. Let's do defense. That's always fun. Bump that AC up. Second wind. What I always like to do is write these down onto my character sheet and then read what they do and maybe even mark down the page number if it's really complicated. I think that's all we get for first level, so let's keep on going and get our ability scores. Our next step is determining our ability scores. Dungeons & Dragons has 6 main ability scores: Strength, Dexterity, Constitution, Wisdom, Intelligence, and Charisma. Based on what type of character you're playing, you're going to want these ability scores to vary. But there are 3 main ways to determine what your ability scores are. First off, we have standard array, where you get a bunch of numbers between 8 and 15, and you get to assign one of them to each of your abilities. Pretty simple. The next way of determining your ability scores is called the point buy system. You basically get each of your abilities starting out at 8, and you have 27 points to increase those scores. Each increase requires 1 point to do. You can't increase your ability scores over 15 with this, and as you know, none of your ability scores will be below 8. The final way of determining ability scores is called the rolled method. Basically what you do is you take 4 6-sided dice and you roll them, adding the numbers together but leaving out the lowest dice roll. Basically, you're going to do this 6 times, and each of those rolls is going to be one of your ability scores. I really like this method because it's all up to the fate of the dice. For Akmenos, we're going to be using the rolled method, so I gotta grab some dice from the magical light box. Maybe I'll just put all these out. Let's grab you and you and you and you. All right. So we're gonna do this 6 times. There we go. Oh, that's actually really good. Oh my gosh, that's almost max. That's gonna be 12 plus 5, 17. Lucky man. Okay. So for that, I've rolled out my ability scores. I've got a 14, a 15, another 15, a 10, a 13, and a 17. So I want him to be a dexterity-based fighter. So let's pop our highest score into there. So let's pop that into another 15 into intelligence. Can't forget about constitution if you're a fighter. So let's pop that other 15 in there. Let's pop the 13 in for wisdom. And then put the 10 in for charisma, but since we got that +2 from being a tiefling, whoop, whoop, it is now up to a 12. That puts a 14 in strength. That's not bad. Not half bad. What did we get? What was our bonus? Other bonus from being a tiefling? Intelligence. Yes. So that's a good bump. Okay. So for my final ability scores, I've got a 14 in strength, a 17 in dexterity, a 15 in constitution, a 16 in intelligence, a 15 in wisdom, and a 12 in charisma. Our fourth step is describing our characters, and the way D&D does this is through a background. Basically, there are a bunch of different backgrounds laid out in this book, and they each have a couple of skill proficiencies, some special equipment you get, as well as a small feature. Honestly, you're not going to use that feature all too much. It's super situational, but maybe you'll find a way to work it into your character. This bit also gives us a couple of role-playing options, like personality traits, ideals, bonds, and flaws, specific for each of your backgrounds. For our character, let's see. I really like the idea. We're going for redemption arc here, so maybe I don't want him to be too stable. Hermit, no. Noble, no. How about let's do entertainer? Maybe he did some sort of performing. So for our chosen background, we've got a couple of skill proficiencies, acrobatics and performance. That's nice. We already have acrobatics, so we'll switch that out. Popular demand. This is the feature I was talking about. You can always find a place to perform. That's nice. You receive food and lodging, modest, Nice. And then we've got our personality, ideals, bonds, and flaws. Amazing. The final step is creating your inventory, marking down all of your equipment. Each class gets specific equipment that you get to mark down, and they each give you certain benefits. You can find all this equipment in the player's handbook. Now the next thing you have to do is come up with a backstory for your character and find a group to play with. Alright everyone, that is the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a big old Bigby's hand-sized thumbs up, and subscribe for some more Prismatic Wizard shenanigans. As you know, we did not complete this character sheet because we don't have a backstory for Akmenos. However, I think this would be a great time for you guys to flex those storytelling skills and let me know what you think Akmenos' backstory should be down in the comments. And maybe next time I will do a video going deeper into that. As always, check out other videos on the channel, but until then, keep it chromatic.